Here are three things that I have done to make pottery on a budget. So, what is up, Shaping Nation? This is Nick Torres here. And on this episode of Shaping Your Pottery, I'm going to be talking about three things that I have done to make pottery on a very strict budget with little to no money. So, to get right into it, the first thing that you can do is to buy clay and then practice pottery at home. I know it sounds very simple, but a lot of people think that you need to have a pottery wheel in order to be making pottery. And that's what you feel like you need to feel like a potter to start making pottery. But that can't be further from the truth. Pottery is big, can be pretty much for anyone. So like if you want to go on the wheel, you can go on the wheel. If you want to start sculpting, you can sculpt. If you want to hand build, you can hand build. And there's all these different things that you can do in pottery. It goes layers and layers and layers and layers deep. Not just about throwing on the wheel. So the first thing that you can do to start making pottery on a budget is to bring home a bag of clay. Buy a bag of clay and bring it home. Bring it home and start practicing. Start practicing hand building technique. Start practicing your handles. Start practicing, maybe making houses, maybe different designs. Whatever it is, you can get started in pottery simply by buying a bag of clay, taking it home, and just start practicing things. Putting things together with some water, see how it turns out. Start making time to practice just by simply buying the bag of clay, taking it home, and then practicing it. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need a wheel. You can buy a wheel later if you want to, but you don't need a wheel to actually make some really good looking pottery. For the longest time, I thought the same thing. I thought that you absolutely needed a wheel to make some good things. I thought because I had a wheel, I thought I was better than everybody else. Boy, was I wrong. I was way off about that. Because once I started sculpting, that's when I realized that that was a thing that I really like to do. Not so much wheel throwing, but the sculpting part of it. I still incorporate my wheel throwing skills with my sculpting, but the thing that I like most is my sculpting. And you don't need a wheel to start getting good at pottery or start being able to make pottery. You don't even need that much money. $25 for a 25-pound bag of clay. That's not too much money. And you could do that right away, pretty much. The first thing is buy a bag of clay, take it home, and start practicing. That is the first thing that you can do to start making pottery on a budget. The second thing that you could do is to use slip instead of glazes to decorate your pottery. So what do I mean by this? So first, let me tell you what slip is. Slip is simply just the application of wet clay, and that is literally all slip is. It's just very wet clay. It has water in it. It's very moist, and that's all slip is. It's just wet clay. So why do I suggest for you to use slip instead of glazes? You see, glazes, whether it's under glazes or any other type of glazes, they are very expensive, very, very expensive. And we don't want to break the bank on this, especially if we are on a budget, but we want to be making pottery. Slip is the easiest thing that you can do because you have already bought the clay from before, and all you need to do is just wet the clay, mix it up until it's like a peanut butter or like whipped cream, so that now you have ways to decorate your pottery in a different way. So you don't have to keep making the same thing over and over again. You can use slip to help you decorate your pottery, help start making some ideas come to life. And on top of that, you could buy mason stains to change the color of your pottery so that you don't have to actually buy the glazes itself. Maybe buy a clear glaze so that it's functional if you're making functional work. But slip is by far one of the easiest things that you can do. It's the easiest thing to make, and it's the cheapest thing that you can do if you want to start adding some color, some designs, some sgraffito work, whatever it is that you want to do. Slip is the best thing that you can do, especially on a budget. So here are the first two things that I have suggested so far if you're making pottery on a budget. So number one is to just simply buy a bag of clay, take it home and practice. That's it. You don't need a wheel. You don't need nothing. Second thing is to use slip instead of glazes. Slip is very, very cheap, very, very easy to make, and it is very, very helpful to help you start making ideas come to life. The thing that I suggest here, and I recently started doing this myself, is find kiln rentals near you. There's going to probably be kiln rentals near you depending where your city is at. And this is a very, very cheap way to get your pottery fired, get your pottery start looking like, finished. It's very, very cheap. Y- Recently, I just spent $10 on a shelf and I had 20 or more characters and they all fit on one shelf and I only spent $10. That is such a steal. You don't have to buy a kiln. You don't have to set it up. You don't have to get the electrical right. If you just find somebody else that already has a kiln rental, and it makes it so much easier for you to start firing your pottery, start seeing your masterpieces come to life. Because I know I've been stuck in that phase where I would make something and then I would wait a long time because I would have to wait for my friend, which is fine because it's his kiln and he's busy. But sometimes you just want the pottery to come out right now, right? You want it to be finished. So find a kiln rental. Just search Google, say kiln rental near me, and like kiln share will pop up, and you'll find like a tons of kilns listed, so that you could start using these kiln rental services. They're very, very cheap, depending on what you are doing. Much cheaper than buying your own kiln right now. And it's a way for you to help you get your pottery, start visualizing it, and start making it come to life. Here are the 3 things that I suggested, again, if you are making pottery on the budget. So number 1 is to just buy a bag of clay and just start making it at home. You don't have to go to a studio. You don't have to have a wheel. You don't have to have any of that. Just buy clay and start practicing. The second thing is to use slip instead of glazes. You can make colored slip, and slip is very, very easy to make, much cheaper than glazes. The third thing is to find kiln rentals to fire your clay. Kiln rentals are everywhere across America, probably the world. And if you can find those kiln rentals, it's going to be so much easier. You don't have to buy a kiln yet. You could leverage that to your best ability. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one.